Our bottom and top side price objectives were met and price action fell per our expectations at the close. The battle is certainly not over, so let's begin this thread of analysis with the ARQ algorithms as they have shown unparalleled success during these highly manipulated times. Welcome back to the channel on this Taco Tuesday. This is ARCa. Let's dive into ticker symbol FNGR. What is up, you guys, and welcome back. Let's go ahead and dive in to ticker symbol FNGR. We're going to start off here with the ARQ armor indicator, right? So this is an indicator that is used for its very secret sauce, right? Using the long and short strategies, right? So you got a short signal, it comes down. You get a long signal, it goes up, right? So that whole deal, that same thing. So over and over and over and over again, right? So this is a momentum-based indicator, short-term, usually best used within the minute time frames to maybe even up to a 4-hour time frame. It can be used beyond that, right? But of course, there are lots of fluctuations within the shorter time frame period. So this is why it can be used as a momentum indicator. But now that we are in the 5-minute time frame, very quickly for us to notice that we do have a long signal printed right down here in the after hours trading, and that short signal actually fired off right about here at 665 before the asset ended up dropping to 648, and now we're getting this this long signal here, which means that there could potentially be a recovery leading into tomorrow. All right, so now one more thing that we wanted to notice here is that we had identified a very short-term 5-minute head and shoulders formation here, right? And this is how we were able to determine what that downside price objective could be during the live stream. And we said that it would be a high likelihood for this to drop down to 660, 661. And of course, it certainly did at some point, and then used it as resistance. And we ended up closing per the targets that we spoke at the end of last night's thread, right? So I said it was 643. I think I said 643 to 653 or something like that. And yeah, we have this 648 here and the 652 at close. So it's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and go back here and take a look at this, because we have an absolute just disgusting amount of manipulation in the market today. So let's just go ahead and start off with the 30-second chart here and point out that we have two iterations of manipulation here, right? This was right within the NYSE lunchtime, right? So this was around 9:30 a.m. Pacific, and we ended up catching two iterations of manipulation here. The reason why you see these other lines here is because as we move up the time frames, you'll likely see where the next ones are printed. Here is the next one, and here's the next one for the 1-minute time frame, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the bi-minute time frame for your review. Here's the bi-minute, right? Let's go ahead and move up to the 3-minute, and here's the 3-minute showing three iterations almost back to back, right? In fact, that's a line that I actually missed. This one right here. There we go. Okay, and let's go to the 4-minute time frame. I think that may have been. Yeah, I think the 4-minute was the last one here, and bam, the last shot of manipulation, and that actually fulfilled the 645 bottom that the asset ended up getting, right? So very curious amount of manipulation here, so much presently. Sorry, what the heck is happening? Here's the 5-minute time frame. Let's just make sure that we can continue here. Then let's see the 10-minute. And yeah, the 10-minute is actually showing one. I can't believe I didn't go beyond and look at. It usually happens within the shorter time frames, right? So there we go. That's about it. So now you are looking at 1, 2. Let's just bring this back to the minute time frame so that we can have an accurate read over the count, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shots of manipulation today. And I mean, this is just it's just incredible how much pressure there was applied onto the asset, but definitely still showing that there is a buy-side interest here, and the bulls are certainly not letting it go. So now this marks off 3 days in a row of manipulation. Very curious here. So I mean, if this is the, I don't know how many, you know what, that's going to be a curious back test for me to do of over how many days in, let's see, how many consecutive days there have been of manipulation before. Because I know, like, for example, here you have manipulation all this entire day, right? This is the day where price action came down from that 737 all the way down to the 451. I believe that was the capybara thing, right? So well, I mean, arguably the next day, right, it would be 722 to about 451. So that day there was a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 9, 10, 11 shots of manipulation, right? So yeah, I mean, fair enough. But seeing that downside was was such a huge magnitude. Look at this for the downside not being so great. So that was a lot of manipulation here for the price action to still hold its posture, right? So it's posturing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 80%, almost 85% to what that capybara event ended up showing as manipulation, and price essentially did not fall as aggressive or as much as that event. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here and see what we have in store for us. Okay, so 12-hour time frame is showing a little bit of downside here on the stochastic momentum indicator. Of course, we can always kind of finesse this and see where that early reflection could be, right? So let's go ahead and change the D% look back period to a 1-day look back, which would be the EMA 1 at this case. Right now, we're going to put a smoothing factor of 1 and see where it's going. Okay, so now we're showing that the EMA 1 is actually showing some upside here. So there may be a correction, or there may be, there may be a correction here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here, because first of all, right, these are the bottom side supports, key supports that we must keep in mind in the event to where we reach down here, right? So if you are gonna keep some targets in mind, then probably keep these, right? 615 to 638 with a focus at 623. These support levels have, this range here has worked for us pretty gracefully as a support and as a resistance, right? So it's looking pretty good there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and speak about this here. Okay, so it looks like, let me go back here to the, so it looks like we got an after hours close of 652 with a market close. Yeah, it looks like the market closed at 654. Okay, so pretty impressive, right? So we already expected to drop down to this area anyway, right? So specifically focused here at the regression line from the descending broadening wedge on the weekly time frame. Very, very large time frame regression, right? So this is specifically from February 2021 all the way to present moment, and we just got the first weekly candle closure, on Friday. So Monday, this was effective, the first weekly candle to close upside of that regression since February 2021. So it's very bullish. And we did speak about presently testing and kind of dwindling around this support area where we are presently, right? So that support of the regression is 653, and market closed at 654. Post market ended up closing at 652. So yeah, literally hovering right around that. So team, this is a good reminder here. I definitely have about 9 seats left for the ARC Masters course. So this is a 16-week mentorship program for charting and for analysis, right? So no prerequisites needed, no experience for trading needed, but the advanced topics will follow, and mathematical concepts will follow as well into the later weeks of the ARC Masters course. So just know that I've only opened up 30 seats and 21 have already been taken. So please go ahead and reach out to me to arcmasterscourse@gmail.com, and I will go ahead and pass you the syllabus disclaimer and all of the information pertinent to that. Thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for the new master students taking their trading journey to the next level. Let's go ahead and get that together, team. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here and point out something that, of course, I think it was Welby that pointed it out just yesterday. My brother, good eye, and definitely very happy that you are getting as involved as you are with the technicals, right? I mean, that it can show some it can show some dedication, right? So I love that you're doing that. So here's one thing that we want to point out here: the daily time frame candle here after a downside, right? And then you print this candle down here. That is specific to a hammer candle, right? Small body, if anything, very tiny or non wick at the downside. In this case, there's no shadow, there's no wick here, right? So this has a long a wick to the upside, and that usually tells us that there is a potential reversal at play. The confirmation candle for a continuation to the upside will be the following day. So tomorrow's entire candle here will depend on the continuation to the upside for the FNGR asset leading into the later part of the week. So I was already expecting to be touching the area of about 726 to 736 into tomorrow, or today actually. So the asset is, in essence, is running a bit late. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually get that reversal to start happening soon. And let's see what the next chart has to offer for us. Okay, team. So yeah, this was the this is the focus that we talked about yesterday. 667 to 641. Price action came down to 641, and you know, and here was the resistance top that we were looking at 696. Price action came out to 698 and resisted. So the range that we spoke of was absolutely used. And it looks like we may have already gotten the, no, we haven't, right? So we haven't gotten a downside support here, but we're going to validate that now and see if we can catch the zone of about 641. In this case, it would be 641 to about, I'd say, oh, actually, that's going to be a little bit of a tough one because we do have a fair value gap here. So that imbalance is actually going to serve as a potential support. Not always do those imbalances fill, right? Meaning that the wick here to this wick here with a candle in between. It's not always that we penetrate that top side wick to reach the bottom one, but the chances are there, seeing that the support line here from the reversion variant, or AKA Bollinger Bands, is located right at about 633. But if I were to put any type of guess here, I would say that 636 again, right, to 641 would be that sweet spot for us to look at, right, for tomorrow. So I can't honestly put a focus on this because we do have the Bollinger Band sitting at 633. So honestly, the focus would be the 636 to 639. All right. So now let's go ahead and move on to let's just go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis. And yeah, I guess, team, yeah, if you are, sorry, I know somebody was asking me the question of where they can acquire the indicators, right? So if you are interested, please go ahead and get in touch with me at ARQ indicators at gmail.com to get subscribed to the algorithms that we have released here that include the manipulation spotter, which is Composure, and then also the other one that we saw, right, ARC Armor, with the buy and sell strategies. So yeah, let's go ahead and now move on to that last part of the analysis, and this is going to be what's going to tell us if we have a downside coming in. So 30-minute immediate short term is definitely showing a little bit of pressure here, right? We could be facing a resistance from that SMA 14, seeing that the SMA 14, represented by that pink line, is already kind of on a downside pivot, although it still shows, or if in my honest opinion, it favors more consolidation than it does a downside. So let me see the 15-minute and the 10-minute and the 5-minute, all of those consolidating. Very curious. Now the bi-hourly time frame is also consolidating, and specifically within the bear weakness percentile in its gravitational zone. So this gravitational zone here can help propel the RSI signal into the resistance of the opposing side's gravitational zone and the SMA 14 resistance. So this would in essence do this. Right, so we're kind of trapped there a little bit, and seeing that the volatility with today was a little slow in overall. Actually, the entire market space was a little pensive, right? Same situation here, 4-hour time frame, right? We have a consolidation here as well. Same thing on a 6-hour time frame. Wow, it's a little hard to tell what things can do when you are not actually getting any reads, right? So. And yeah, so it's very, yeah, I would have to actually stay away from giving a bias immediately here because of this fact. So we're going to have to just go ahead and experience this live and see what it reacts like. But if anything, the daily time frame is showing a little bit of downside here. And that could have been completed with the after hours trade back down to 652. So we shall see at market open. Next thing to kind of look at here would be the buy daily. Let's see. Buy daily is showing a little bit of a bias towards the downside, not convincing, but leading into the 3-day, looks like the 3-day is at support, which would essentially take us to the upside. And seeing that the 5-day time frame is in the gravitational zone here for a pull to the upside and making a bullish crossover upside of the SMA 14, that can tell me that the 3-day time frame may start prepping for a push into the 5-day time frame. Okay, so that could be the smallest hint here, paired with the daily time frame inverted hammer for an upside continuation. But it looks like we may be consolidating a bit during the pre-market into the early session before us facing some market movement. So let's go ahead and kind of stay vigilant here and see what else can be happening. But you know the targets, you know the potentials here, and you already know the macro move that we're already being presented based on this macro breakout here, team. Okay, so of course this took like 3 years right here to finally break out of. So, you know, it's going to take some time for us to validate this key support before a continuation to the upside, but it is looking very positive nonetheless. Okay, team, so please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything would be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well a very, very good rest of your night. And I shall catch you at the bell mañana. Adios. Yeah.